You're listening to Pop This, the podcast where two women talk about everything pop culture. Here are your hosts, Lisa Christiansen and Andrea Warner.
So I, like many people during this pandemic, take a lot of walks. And I just want to say that after I got bored of all the streets and know them all, I like to do the alleys. I think a lot of people have been skulking about the alleys. Yeah.
I love alley walks.
Yeah, they are so good. But I just want to say a quick, cheers and kudos or whatever, like celebrate all of these people who do decorating on the back lanes of their house.
Yeah.
Hardly anyone sees it at all. But there are people with flower boxes going. Mm-hmm. I've seen paintings on the side, on the laneway, on the roadway. And I went by a house today that on the back of their garage, they'd painted all these sunflowers.
That's nice.
Aww.
And I was just so moved by the whole, idea that you just want to make sure the back of your house, like in the back lane where your garbage usually just is, and people are taking the time to make that beautiful. And also I like to find treasures. Do you do that too?
Uh-huh. I come from a family of like a secondhand, junk store, antique, collectible people. So yeah.
You know what? This segues nicely into this whole thing now. Everyone's getting panicky about all the people that are thrifting. Have you heard this? Like all the secondhand clothes and...
I mean,
people... Etsy invested in some Goodwill today.
That makes sense.
Why are people
getting... have been crazy popular.
Why are people getting panicky?
Just because they're thinking that people have always done this, but now it's become trendy. So how anything that becomes fashionable or people talk about, then they start blaming millennials, and that's what's happening.
Yeah,
that they're snapping up all the good stuff.
Yeah,
fast fashion is going to go out of business because millennials are buying clothes on Poshmark. I mean, honestly, I can see that entire...
You have heard this, right?
Well, I feel like actually it's a story that sort of like cycles through like every 10 or 15 years. And for a while it wasn't... my dad had a secondhand store throughout my childhood. And so we would
I would have loved that so much. Was that awesome?
It was honestly incredible. And it was like thousands and thousands of square feet of just stuff out to the ceilings. Like I will find pictures for you guys someday because people don't really, unless they were there, they don't really comprehend the scope of what a joy and nightmare this space was. If an earthquake had hit, or if it had caught fire, the building did burn down, just 5 years ago or so. If it had happened when my dad's business was still there, what an even bigger disaster than it was at the time. 'Cause it was just he had a main floor and then the space next door, through a walkway. Then you'd go up a really rickety flight of stairs. There was a mezzanine level. Then there was a backroom crawl space that was huge and went up a ramp connected to both the cobbler shop and the Chinese restaurant. And
I want this movie so bad.
It was incredible. Honestly, it really was incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, so people used to get so mad all the time, especially sometimes we'd get people who came in that had opened their own furniture shop and were so mad that we, I don't know, I guess we're just taking their business or whatever. 'Cause we had, I think much, and especially back then it was everyone was oh, well, it's either IKEA or a junk shop. No one goes to any of the other real important brands or whatever. I'm come on, guys, please. Anyway, sorry.
But where did your dad source all the stuff from the store?
We spent a lot of our years
going to houses and
going to estate sales, going to garage sales. People would call and just say like, hey, we got to move my like parents, grandparents, whatever. Can you come and like look through everything and take what you want, like, you know, make us an offer on what you want beforehand. People would bring stuff in a lot of times. Like once, especially he got established, like, cause like before he got the store, so before he had the store, and before my parents split up, we had lived in a house and the basement was just filled with stuff that he was picking up already from garage sales. Like he already was a bit of like a pack rat kind of dude. And so then after my parents split up, he opened his secondhand shop and then there was like just lots of places to fill up within that secondhand shop. And so, yeah, it was just like constant nonstop. Like I spent my whole, I don't know, like a lot of my high school years in a large cube van that had sliding open doors that you could drive on the highway, just seat belted in with the doors wide open.
Oh my
like,
God.
Just piles and piles and piles of furniture behind us. Yeah, it was kind of incredible.
Did you get any gems? Do you still have anything?
Oh my God, we have so many things. Actually, like I've even got like some cool stuff behind me, like that's like just well, I mean, this is not a visual medium, but anyway.
No.
But let me just like, so these are some like really old cameras from my dad's shop.
Oh yeah.
That, like,
I remember those.
With a little flash on the corner.
Yeah, like really fun. This book, these like bookends are from my dad's shop.
Oh, nice. Those
beautiful gold
incredibly
horse
heavy.
head.
For people
like
listening,
brass.
it's a brass horse head.
Brass horse head.
That looks like a murder weapon in some other movie.
1,000% could be a murder weapon.
Yeah.
No problem. I have stuff tucked everywhere.
Oh, fun.
That
So-
used to belong to my dad's shop.
Are you like an amazing super thrifter that knows the value of everything?
Well, I used to run, so I used to work at my dad's shop a lot, and I like did a bunch of stuff with him, and I used to run the swap meets for him. So we would have to like load up the cube van full of crap. I was very strong as a teenager as well. I'm just gonna let you know, like I was doing a lot of furniture living. You know how I don't know if on Happy Endings you remember that like Alex and her sister Jane, they used to like move mattresses for their dad's store, and they call Alex muscle boobs. Like I like my sister and I were like equally muscle boobs. And so we would just like move stuff all the time with my dad. And so and I was like a year older and I could drive. So like from the moment I got my license, in the summer we would do like the swap meets in Cloverdale. And so we'd have to load up the cube van a Saturday night, drive out to Cloverdale, get in line for the good spots, and sleep in the truck overnight. And then Dad would help me set up stuff in the morning, or whomever, like maybe sometimes Jen was there, but I feel like it was usually like my dad and me. But we'd set up stuff in the morning, and then at like 11, he had to go and open up the store, and then I would stay for the rest of the day.
Wow.
And then usually like someone would, like maybe my sister would come and spot me or whatever, like I don't know. But someone would come and relieve me because you can't really like have just one person running your stall at a swap meet. Like,
well, yeah, I'll have to go to the washroom at some point.
Exactly. But it would be like outdoors all day in the sun in Cloverdale.
No wonder you used to like to doing those Christmas markets so much.
Well, I love those kinds of things. Like they're super fun. But
it's
yeah,
like
so
such a community, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like not bad at knowing value sometimes, but I was never so interested in making a buck off anything. Like I really liked the stories behind things, and I liked people who were excited to buy stuff, and like I liked weird stuff. But I didn't have the like eye for necessarily being like, that is a specific piece of pottery that's signed by a blah 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 blah, or like, oh, that copper is stamped with a special thing. Like I didn't really pay attention to that stuff that well.
But that sounds like just the dream family business.
Yeah, it does.
Well, like sometimes it was and sometimes it really wasn't, because it's a hard business sometimes to make money at. Like there would be like
It's the hard knock life for you, hey?
Honestly, there would be like
Yeah.
real like dicey, uncomfortable months where like we might not have like rent to pay for like our apartment that we lived in, or like, you know, like there were some really dicey months because he also had to pay rent for his store. And my dad was very like smart and incredibly charming, but hadn't ever really done, like he learned the business by owning businesses, which is good, but like sometimes you also need to know a little bit more about finance, you know? Anyway, but it was great. It was like I have like just really like the best childhood, and like learning how to interact with everybody, learning how to talk to people. Like it was the prime sort of like not grooming, but like the prime sort of like foundation
School,
building,
like
foundation
you got
building
some-
for like journalism.
You got some life smarts, don't you?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I do think I am a little street smart. I always,
Yeah, I think that.
yeah,
I
I
describe
I
you that
agree.
way.
thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
Do you know who doesn't have street smarts though?
I
Oh!
Wow.
Giselle,
Wow.
indeed.
do. Great segue. I
Nice.
love it.
Thank you.
so much. Oh my god.
Yes.
Well, I'm Andrea Warner,
I'm Lisa Christiansen.
I'm Andrea Gin.
and we are talking about Enchanted.
Which I'm going to guess is the one musical that AG has not hated because it had very little music in it.
I know.
Yeah.
In our sign-in things today, Andrea Warner has "More songs, please" in her subtitle, and I was just gonna put like exactly the right amount of music. Nice touch. Thank you. Thank you, Disney.
You know what? But by putting one of like the better movie song musical pieces in the middle, kind of helped everything out.
Yeah. But so just to clarify, is this a musical or is it a music movie?
Well, great question. I think with only 3 actual musical numbers, it's just a musical movie, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's Disney, so it felt more musical.
I
don't
guess,
know.
yeah.
Was it a Broadway situation?
No, not
Ever?
yet. Not yet.
Okay.
I'm sure it will be at some point because Disney loves to turn their shows into like Broadway situations. Apparently, there was a 4th song that was between James Marsden and Idina Menzel, and Disney cut it.
Oh, how do you cut a song by Idina Menzel?
How do you hire Idina Menzel and then have her sing something and then cut it? Like that's, yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering throughout the movie too, is when she would burst into song, because
Yeah.
you know, like it seems like why, like she's obviously there to belt out a song at some point.
Yeah.
When's it gonna be?
Yeah, I have some thoughts
Yes.
about this
I'm
film,
sure we
but
do.
I guess let's do some background first, shall we?
Okay, well, I can read the background.
Great.
Enchanted is a 2007 American live-action animated musical fantasy romantic comedy film. Woo!
Wow,
That
everything.
was everything there. Written by Bill Kelly and directed by Kevin Lima. The film stars Amy Adams, Patrick Dempsey, James Marsden, Timothy Spall, Idina Menzel, Rachel Covey, and Susan Sarandon. The film is live-action animated, and its plot focuses on an archetypal Disney princess who is forced from her traditional animated world into the live-action world of New York City. In the U.S., Enchanted was critically well-received, established Adams as a leading lady, and earned more than $340 million worldwide at the box office. It received 2 nominations at the 65th Golden Globes and 3 Best Original Song nominations at the 80th Academy Awards. A sequel titled Disenchanted is in development and is expected to premiere on Disney+.
Can you believe that we can't watch Enchanted on Disney Plus, but
I know.
Disenchanted is
No
gonna?
way.
I
I
looked
was
for it too, yeah. I was-
furious when I
Yeah.
found that and I figured that out. I was like, "What is this?" I
Well, if
that they're
anyone
gonna
does
have, like,
want to watch it, though, I have to say it was on. You can rent it on YouTube for $4.99.
Yeah, it was easy to rent and stuff, but like
Yeah.
I just was like, "How dare you, Disney? How dare you?" But I know they're probably gonna
How
drop
dare you.
both at the same time,
Yes.
and then it'll be like a whole Enchanted, Disenchanted weekend, blah blah blah. I get it, but still, mad.
Yeah.
Mad.
Yes.
AG, do you want to read the synopsis?
Sure. After being tricked by a throne-loving Queen Narissa, soon-to-be Princess Giselle falls into another world far from her and Alacia, New York. Seeking refuge with a lawyer and his daughter, Giselle waits for her prince to come. However, she, Prince Edward, and Pip the Chipmunk get a taste of reality, while Robert the lawyer and his daughter Morgan get a taste of the land of dreams. That's from
Aw.
Fandom.
The Land of Dreams.
So, like, had you seen the movie before?
Yes.
I had.
No.
You
I
have?
knew that you were going to be the one who had not.
Yeah.
Okay, so so I had also seen it. Lisa, like, how long has it been since you saw it? Like, did you see it once and then now?
Yeah. I think I saw it when it came out. Not in the
Yeah.
theater, I don't imagine, but
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, I saw it when it came out.
Yeah, I feel like I hadn't seen it since it came
No,
out.
I haven't.
And I was like, it's a little long, but I was like kind of like pleasantly surprised. Like I laughed like quite a few times, and I enjoyed the songs. And I liked sort of like a gentle satire, if you will. Like it wasn't a very like strenuous satire, but like a gentle satire of sort of like, you know, princess tropes and stuff and fairy tale tropes.
I felt it was one of those movies that had a really great kind of premise. Kind of made me think of Elf in a way,
Yeah.
with that, you know, genuinely good person that falls into this world that they don't want to be in, New York City. But then I felt second and third acts were really tedious. The running around New York with the chipmunk chasing you and stupid Prince Edward. It was not as fun as the beginning when we were like, and so, excuse the word, enchanted by Giselle and her optimism and her sweetness and making, doing a Julie Andrews and making the dresses out of the curtains.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
like how
That
they'd
part was
wake up
hilarious.
every morning and just like the empty, like the pattern of the dress is just
Yeah,
gone from the
like those
curtain.
little things are really, really fun. But then I just felt like it was like they were trying to find an ending. It actually didn't make any sense that Susan Sarandon showed up. It was just very peculiar.
She
You
she
know
could
what?
have like just not come like at like she like she, if she like honestly she all she has to do is let Giselle and Robert hook up and then she
Yeah,
has
then
no
it wouldn't have
problem.
mattered. Yeah, and it's like,
And then
it
she
was
could
like
just marry her own stepson if she wanted to, I'm sure. Like whatever, they could figure it out.
It's like they wanted to end it like King Kong, and then I was like, okay, if that's what you really want to do, and you've
Yeah, but,
written
like,
everything
why?
toward that, why? Why? I don't know. It was unnecessary.
You know what I liked though? They picked 4 songs and they were all solid. And then they
Just
left it
4.
at that. And then they left it at that. And it felt like the right amount of music and singing to me in the movie. They were like really good, memorable efforts complete with good choreography. I also felt the New York apartment that Patrick Dempsey and his daughter lives in was I enjoyed that apartment a lot.
Me too.
The building.
Me too.
It's beautiful.
And Amy Adams's performance is just perfect for the role.
Such a
Like,
delight.
she's-
Such a
yeah,
delight.
Yeah.
The way she's looking at the fishes in the aquarium with her, like,
Yeah.
that's what made me think of Elf, I guess.
When she like has one in her mouth for what reason I do not know.
That was so
Like
funny.
it was really funny. But like they're yeah, like so like I think I don't like Patrick Dempsey.
Wait, you also don't like James Marsden, and I was just gonna get myself comfortable before we get into James Marsden, because I know I'm just gonna let Lisa and you go and discuss this and have it out.
I
Let's
feel like you're gonna say that he was perfectly cast as just pretty vapid and easy to throw over.
In all honesty, I thought James Marsden was perfect. I like his singing voice. I thought his performance was actually quite inspired. I think like him as a self-involved but like mostly harmless doofus is perfect for him. It plays to a skill set that is like great. The other roles that I have, we've talked about him a lot, but like the other roles that I think he has done well is like programmed robot on that TV show Westworld.
Westworld, yeah.
And sort of like really like kind of like charming evil douche on the murder
Dead to Me.
Dead to Me. Thank you. So those are my 3 favorite Marsden performances, and I don't know that.
You didn't like him as Corky Collins in Hairspray? I thought he did very well in that.
Oh, like he's fine in that, but like I think almost anybody could have done that job. Like I mean,
Wow.
it's not like he doesn't always bring something that is so uniquely Marsden, or it's not like he's like a type of vanilla. He's not a more interesting flavor, and that's it's not ever gonna do anything much for me. However, I do enjoy his singing voice. If he could play like an evil character and a good character, like he's sort of doing, I don't want to give spoilers for Dead Like Me, but anyway, I think that's like perfect.
I read that he actually allowed himself to get run over by those bikes.
Right.
So it would be realistic.
Good. It felt good too when I saw that hit.
Wow, why?
I'm kidding.
Okay, Lisa,
Okay, so
your turn.
here's the thing. When you were reading out our titles that we type in for being on this podcast recording software, I put my name as James. I'm always left for the other guy, Marsden, because that is the hallmark of all of the movies he's in. If there's some romance, he's always second. He's always thrown over for somebody else, which I find unbelievable. I mean, how he is. I mean, I know that in sometimes you can understand, like in The Notebook, it's Ryan Gosling. Kind of.
God, I forgot he was in The Notebook.
How could you forget he was in The Notebook?
Because he's that
James
forgettable.
Marsden. Okay.
Yeah.
When he was in
Sorry.
when he was in X-Men, he was up against
Hugh
Wolverine.
Jackman, yeah. And I have to say, I
That's-
do hate his character in X-Men, like, and his performance of that character in
Okay,
X-Men.
and then when he was in Superman,
He was in Superman?
yeah, the one of the later remake ones.
Okay.
He also is the boyfriend of Lois Lane. Well, we know what happens there. I mean, to be fair, again, Superman, right? So he's always the second choice and I feel like if it was me and James, I would give him my first pick. That's how I feel. And it would be hard because it would be, Wolverine. It'd be Superman and Ryan Gosling, but I feel like I see something in James that others don't. Present company here.
I mean, you definitely see something in him that I have not picked up on.
I find him a very mysterious man, too. I don't see him on any social media. I don't see him interviewed very often. I can't even... Maybe he is, and I just haven't bothered trying to find him on shows.
I mean, it could also... I mean, he could be private, or he just could be that
here it
dull
comes.
that
Yeah,
no
yeah.
one interviews him about anything.
One day... my James Marsden fan club presidency will, finally...
Oh my God, I'm going to get you that t-shirt made for Christmas. I can't wait.
And then I will meet him and he'll be like, are you serious? And he'd
It'll
be
be
like,
a
okay.
little awkward, but
It would be a little awkward because I don't know his status or anything.
he's married.
Yeah, but I would be very like, James, I would pick you first.
Wow. You know what? That's exactly what people love to hear from like stranger women that they...
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh, and you know what he'd say? He'd say, I've never heard that before. Thank you. No one has ever noticed that about my career.
No.
But no, I do going to what you said. I think he was just perfectly, he looked like a handsome prince. And Patrick Dempsey, I mean, generally he plays that same guy, right? Kind of a jerk.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, to me, they're both these kind of stock, handsome man characters and stuff.
Well, I think for some
Patrick
reason people
Dempsey's a
think
bit older, I
Patrick
guess.
Dempsey has some kind of gravitas or something from like Grey's Anatomy, which I don't agree with. But No, I mean,
He was like peak Grey's Anatomy when they were filming the show, and apparently like there's flocks of fans like trying to see him shoot this movie all over New York, and they'd crowd to wherever the location was and try to see
Have you
him.
ever seen that wretched rom-com Maid of Honor? Starring Patrick
No.
Dempsey?
Yes, I think I have.
Oh.
But you know what? He played a sort of similar character in that Reese Witherspoon movie, Sweet Home Alabama.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, but
I
he
never
got
saw
jilted
that.
in that one.
And he got
They should have
jilted.
put James
Yeah.
Marsden in that.
Oh. Well, I mean, Patrick Dempsey, and this is fine. I don't begrudge him it, but like kind of looked like he was wearing a bit of a hairpiece in this.
I wondered that sometimes.
Yeah, okay, good. Because I was like,
There was
none
one
of-
scene where he was kind of in bed and his hair like changed.
Yeah, no, it did not hold up. I also just like when he is charming in his performance, I think he's quite charming. He has like a little twinkle. It's nice. When he's playing a real dirtbag, I think he does that as well. Does that well as well. But like, and I like his glow up from like when he was like a teen nerd star and Can't Buy Me Love. You know, like I like that's I'm happy for him that he like managed to survive like teen life in Hollywood.
Have you ever looked at his Wikipedia page?
Yes.
It's all like there's a huge section about how he's a really successful car racer.
Yes, that's important to him.
But do you think he, like, for a certain period, do you think he and Matthew McConaughey were up for the same rom-com roles? Because a lot of, like, I find Matthew McConaughey more charming and sweet in rom-coms than I do Patrick Dempsey. But still, like, for some reason, the other day, I watched Ghosts of Girlfriends Past.
Oh, with Sarah Jessica Parker? I've never seen it.
No, not Sarah
Oh,
Jessica Parker.
sorry.
Jennifer Garner.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like she could be in that. That's Failure to Launch with Matthew McConaughey, you were thinking. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we know that I actually like James Marsden more than Matthew McConaughey, so that's my ranking of those two.
Yeah. But man, it is all interchangeable. I mean, really, you could have swapped Patrick and James Marsden, and I don't think anyone would have been.
Well, okay,
that
actually,
upset.
now hold up a second. I can't
Oh.
even believe I'm going to say this, but I was thinking about it last night while I was watching it. I was like, could Patrick Dempsey have done kind of like charming, self-involved doofus with the same grace that James Marsden did?
Oh, yes. Okay, fair.
I don't think he could have. Like, I
Yeah,
think
no.
James Marsden could have played Patrick Dempsey's role, but I don't think Patrick Dempsey could have played James Marsden's role.
There we go. I knew
Yeah.
I'd get something out of you.
I agree.
Yeah. And I do agree with that. I do agree.
But-
And also, I guess, too. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, but I was just going to say that's why I brought up Sweet Home Alabama, because Patrick Dempsey is like his role is like a New York rich dude, handsome dude,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like a JFK Jr. type of person.
Yeah. Yeah. But he wants to be known for more than that. He's a race car driver, you know?
I've never seen Sweet Home Alabama. I've never
What?
seen Failure to Launch. I've never
Oh.
seen Ghosts
Oh,
or
you
Girlfriend's
can't-
Past.
Oh.
Okay, so
It's
here's
an
what
essential Reese Witherspoon. You have to see
It is.
Sweet
here's
Home
what I'm
Alabama.
gonna offer as like a way for AG to get back at me for this musicals and music movies month or 2 months. Like, if you guys wanted to sort of like program a series of like rom-coms I've never seen,
Oh, I like this
force
idea.
us to
Yeah.
go through them all,
Yeah, we do. We do want
Sure,
to force
yeah.
it,
then
yeah.
I'm on board for it.
Yeah, it'll just be a Matthew McConaughey film festival.
It might
Oh,
be
we've already done 10 what was the
Yeah.
no,
10
what was
ways
the-
to lose a man or something.
Yeah,
How to
whatever.
Lose a Man in 10 Days.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the one with Kate Hudson, yeah.
Yeah, but there's like a ton
But
of
don't
rom-coms
worry.
I've never
Yeah,
seen.
he's done a few more.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We'll get on that. But let's just talk about Amy Adams, who I always
Yeah.
find a delight anyway.
Yeah, she was really genuinely so good in this, and she's so charming, and she's so
They had
like
to
young.
fight for her to get cast because she wasn't considered a big
Oh.
enough name at the
I
time.
see.
Oh.
I see.
Yeah.
How do you become a big name? I mean, this is the irony for everybody there, hey?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you've got
I mean-
to get some weird mystic pizza before you become Julia Roberts, right? I mean,
Agreed. No, agreed. But like even like I was just this is like related to sort of last week's episode, but when I did the little collage for Dreamgirls for like last week's episode, I downloaded the film poster, the original film poster, and I flagged it for AG. Jennifer Hudson's name isn't even on the poster.
Wow.
It's just Beyonce, Jamie Foxx, and Eddie Murphy. Those are the three title names.
Well,
on
she
the
was
poster.
and introducing in the credits.
No,
so.
I get that, but I just like thought about like how like that's wild that she's not even on the poster they didn't say and introducing Jennifer Hudson. Like it's just those three names in like
So
the
after
big...
that, it was Academy Award winning.
Yeah.
She went from like 1 to 100 in one movie.
Yeah.
Well, and I think this is what happened with Amy Adams too. Like I mean, you know, obviously she was in Drop Dead Gorgeous, which we did, and like she's good in that, but like it's a small role. She had like done an episode of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which I remember like, but I think like, I mean, this and American Hustle for me.
She's so good in that. Yeah,
she's so good in that.
Yeah.
And then honestly,
Arrival.
is
She's amazing.
Arrival. She's
What a
so
film.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love her in Arrival. I think she's incredible in that.
That's an amazing movie too.
Yeah. And I really, really enjoyed Sharp Objects. I thought that was like, that's sort of like a Mayor of Easttown kind of like before.
Oh, did you end up watching all that?
I haven't watched it yet, but I know that we are going to have to do it at some point. I also feel, even though I've heard The Woman in the Window is terrible.
Apparently. Just beyond
apparently terrible. I'm kind of intrigued. I
read the book, but...
Oh, how was that?
It was very upsetting.
Oh, yeah.
I was on vacation and my friend was like, I'm finished this if you want to read it. And I was like, okay. And then it's like all the time I'm upset, like super upset. I'm like devastated upset. Anyway.
Yeah. It's like when I decided to read Gone in the Dark or You'll Be Gone in the Dark when I was like on vacation in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you got to really pick your vacation reading.
Yeah. You have to be careful about that.
And you have to have the most devastating thing that can happen in a vacation read is someone got cheated on. That's it. That is it.
Yes.
That is your barometer.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. But anyway, back to Enchanted. So AG, this was your first time seeing it. And like, what was like, outside of the fact that you're like, finally a musical I can get behind because there's 3 songs. What was your
4
other
songs.
like takeaway?
That's the perfect amount of songs.
Okay, cool.
In a 1 hour and 45-minute movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
I strongly disagree, but that's fine.
I believe that's the formula.
Strongly disagree, but that's fine. But what else did you like about it? Like or did you like it, the rest of it?
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I thought the sort of like light satire, I think as you referred to it earlier, was pretty funny throughout the movie. And I don't know, I laughed. I enjoyed the music. I thought Amy Adams was great. I thought, Susan Sarandon, even though her character was a little bit superfluous, little. I did enjoy her.
There's a very complicated curse, actually, I found.
It's like she can cast her own image into every reflective thing of fluid or liquid.
Soup.
And she can curse a bunch of apples, but she can't just lay hands on this woman on her own. Like, I understand we can't rewrite the rules of the movie, but like, it was interesting.
It seemed complicated. It seemed unnecessarily complicated.
Yeah. Convoluted as well.
Yeah.
And I did find that the movie was like ultimately dragged down a bit because it had to kind of stick to these like princess movie conventions of having like a Prince Charming. She has to, meet her Prince Charming at the end, and then
everybody always seems to take very well being completely discarded as well. Hey. Oh, well, yeah. I'll marry you instead,
I love it. Obviously, you have to give her true love's kiss. Look, I've been with you for 5 years, Robert. I get it. You just got to go to the new woman you met yesterday who had a bunch of rodents and pests clean your apartment
And might
help
have
make her a
some
dress.
big issues, like
Might
red
have some
flags,
big
red
issues.
flags. I mean, she has no identity or money.
Yeah, sure. No, but like, you know what? Nancy knew what she wanted. She wanted to waste 5 years on a man, and then just like be like, oh, hey, a prince.
Yeah.
Cool, cool, cool.
I'll go become a cartoon.
Get me to Andalasia. Yeah, like no talking about what it is to give up your like literal corporeal form.
But it was for James Marsden, so that's, I'm just saying.
Rough trade.
And the funny thing was too to think. I mean, had Wicked already come out then? Because I mean, here she is. Yeah,
there was a billboard for Wicked with Idina Menzel on it in Times Square.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's an actual giant
funny.
Idina Menzel Wicked billboard.
I want to look back and see that. That's funny.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and then I kind of found, this sort of, let's take your dad's credit card and go shopping,
The shopping montage was so
and made her look
stupid.
bad. How do you do that? How do you go through an entire
I know, that
montage
dress
and make
wasn't
someone... The dress was bad, her hair was
impressive
bad.
enough. Yeah.
But you know what it was? It was her like statement that she is now a contemporary woman in the 20th century.
And she shouldn't want to be that because that sucks.
Well, I mean, it sounds like princessing wasn't all that fun either, ultimately.
But then, like they also sort of leave her where she's making princess dresses for little girls. And that just seems like, are we supposed to accept that as her happy ending too? Like she's just convincing a bunch of little girls to be princesses?
You can be the paper bag princess.
Yeah, see, like, this is a sort of interesting thing because I know that I would have, in 2007, felt a bit differently at that ending than I did now. Now I was just like, you know what? It's great to have options. Little girls can...
get to move into that apartment.
Well, little girls can be princesses, and you know what? It's really nice to see just, like, cockroaches being like honored for their contributions to society. Like she has this
many rats. They needed
so many rats. Like there's a lot of rats in New York, so like it's nice to see them just sort of like in their creative endeavors. Like in the rules of this movie, her becoming quote unquote girl boss and sort of like being able to finally sort of like weirdly enough, in a capitalistic fashion, monetize the princess fantasy for what it is and have it be a temporary thing that exists in one space, but then you go out into the world and you are your own person outside of that. Like there's like parts of me that can kind of sort of like get behind it all and sort of be like, all right, princesses need to exist in the world, I guess.
I was surprised that the mother and his wife didn't die because it certainly was a very anticlimactic. She left. What do you mean she left? Who was this woman? She just left?
I'm hoping in Disenchanted, that's actually it's her story. She's just like, yeah, Robert says I left, but honestly, he like Rochestered me and I've been in the like attic of his apartment.
It was just not enough there to me. That was like so bad. She left. Like, what happened?
But it's all about like establishing why he hasn't proposed yet.
Yes.
Why he's a sympathetic single father. Like, like making Robert sort of the center of a story that is like entirely should be about Giselle, but like she's being fashioned as this like she's the Prince Charming who's gonna rescue him, and I don't know, it's just a little clumsy.
I wonder,
it's not like written well enough to do that.
Yeah.
I wonder why they made that choice because it would have been so easy to say she had died.
Yeah, and how sad he was. It still works the same way.
No, I think it's actually like super specifically
why he doesn't believe in love, you mean?
Yeah, and why he's a divorce lawyer. And like I think it's actually even a little bit more insidious than that.
Right.
Which is, I mean, kind of like yucks. Is that this woman could leave her child.
Yeah.
And like therefore it's a condemnation of like sort of motherhood in general. Like there's this evil stepmother, she just wants a throne. This woman just wanted like a different life and just like abandoned her husband and her child. Like
they don't even say that.
No, but they do sort of by like him being like he's just like I learned to deal with it and I don't talk about it. Like it's kind of like just passively misogynistic to not give her any information
that's what I'm
or
saying.
backstory.
It was very peculiar.
Yeah.
At least in in Sleepless in Seattle, we get to see some shots of her,
Yeah.
So know who she was, but she died. So different. Yeah. Yeah.
So apparently they're working on Disenchanted.
Is that just going to be really depressing that their marriage didn't work
But
out?
I mean, I was going to say, like, what do you think? It's supposedly set 10 years in the future. But that's all. There haven't been many details released about it. But I don't know. What do you think it's going to be about?
That.
Like
they've been married for 10 years and he hates her now, but they'll rekindle it by the end. They'll be very like
that
her
they have
optimism to like was too much for him and he got bored with having to share the house with chipmunks, rats,
although like he
pigeons.
was pretty slovenly before those pests came in to clean up his home.
Right.
That was like a wild, like it did not look that way when he put her to sleep on the couch. And the next morning it's like they've had a frat party and then
if you don't want a woman to think ideas of you, maybe don't come out and say goodnight to her while you're in your robe. Am I wrong on that?
He was asking for her touch. No, I'm kidding.
No, but I mean...
I'm kidding. No,
you could come out in anything but not your robe and then go back and look all sulky.
Well, the little thatch of chest hair was... but I did... You know what I did? What I did appreciate about that moment is I thought Amy Adams did a great job of selling it that she... she's literally flesh and blood for the first time in her life. We don't see her have to sort of come into any understanding of that.
Yeah, that's weird.
We don't see her, she tastes stuff like food for the first time, but that's like the extent of her becoming flesh and blood. And so then when she has that skin on skin contact with him and touches his chest, I thought she did such a great job of like conveying that she's all just like all of a sudden she's like,
oh, yeah. This is what it feels like.
I have a sexy rush going on all over the place. Like I thought she did a really good job of conveying that, even though I personally did not wish to witness it.
No. You know what I'm hoping the title to Disenchanted is? I hope it's Disenchanted Return to Andalusia. Or
Andalasia.
Andalasia. Andalasia's the pixie, sorry. But they could go there too. But yeah, if it was Return to Andalasia, maybe she wants to go back to like home to be a cartoon again. Because this stuff is garbage. It's garbage. I came here with like joy and excitement, and you have dragged me down to your sadness.
Well, I'm wondering... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, AG.
Oh, apparently Patrick Dempsey will sing in the next movie.
That is not an invitation
we already had to watch him dance. Why do we need to watch this?
Maya Rudolph is going to play the evil character because Susan Sarandon is not coming back.
Okay, keep talking.
Yeah, that's Maya Rudolph so much. I'm like, I'll take Maya Rudolph.
That's all
great.
I know.
I hope with Disenchanted, I hope that's kind of like a fun play on maybe Idina Menzel's character has not adapted to the constraints of a animated fairy tale life.
Yeah. Even though she got cell phone reception, boy, you should be excited to get an iPhone, won't you?
Honestly, can you imagine the technology that she has brought to Andalasia?
Yeah.
And so maybe it's like their relationship is a little bit on the rocks. Amy Adams or Giselle and Robert have had a child. The child falls through like the sewer grate because apparently that's
the child comes out
yeah.
a cartoon and everyone assumes she had an affair with Edward.
I can see that happening. Yeah.
And just like that they all have to go back to like the animated world, which would make a lot of sense actually if they decided to be a little bit more heavily animated in the Disenchanted, because of COVID and filming and stuff. Like they could have had like a little bit more time maybe. But I don't know. I imagine that like
it has to be something to do with the children.
It has to be. Yeah. Like it has to be.
Maybe they're like, for years we've been hearing about Andalasia, now we want to see it.
Yeah.
And she takes them and then she's kidnapped by the queen.
There
and
you
then
go.
Patrick Dempsey has to, as you said, return the favor and save her.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I just like...
I don't want to do Hollywood's work. They do it. Why are we writing this?
I mean, but if Hollywood is listening and wants to pay us for our story ideas,
We'll take
happy
it.
to comply.
We will take it.
Anytime, looking for extra work. I love it. Like this, but like, is there even a point? Like Disenchanted 10 years later, and why specifically 10 years later? Like, why not now? Like, why?
Because we'll find out there is some sort of 10-year curse or something on your wedding, or I don't know.
Oh, like 2017. But can you imagine like 2017 being the marker for this film? Like 2017, unless it wasn't set in 2007, I'm not sure. But like it's
I don't think it really matters when it was set.
I guess I mean, as someone who is a sucker for New York scenery, I don't know how much of this was really shot in New York. It looked like fair bits of it, but like I could be wrong. But I really, really, really loved the big set piece in Central Park.
Yes.
Yes.
That was an amazing show. Yeah.
That made me so happy. Like I do enjoy watching Patrick Dempsey's Robert just be like, how does everyone know this song? And he's like just so resistant to like the obvious, like you just watched a bird make a woman's dress. You think like magic isn't happening in your life now, buddy? Don't be an idiot. Like, come on.
Loosen that tie. Come on.
Seriously, it's so silly.
Yes.
Ugh.
Agreed.
But yeah,
the most alarming thing about this entire movie, though, was seeing Pip strewn up on that.
Oh my God,
Christ-like on that hanger.
I'm Team Pip.
I love Pip too. I love Pip so much, but it was really actually made me feel terrible to see him all like.
Christ, like they meant to make him look like he was a martyr. It was grim. It was weird.
Yeah, and like those little tiny arms being like pinched to the.
Yeah, I was not very happy. I don't like seeing and it was stupid. It just kept going on. Now he's shoved in the popcorn. That was annoying. I just wanted Pip to.
He went into the pizza.
Yeah, then he looked like he got into an oven, but he didn't, and that we were both supposed to go. Oh well, he went into the oven. Ew.
A lot of kind of ew. Like it's
yeah. A lot of kind of ew. I like that.
Yeah, I like this is such a strange movie because I think it just wants to be so many things.
It's no Princess Bride, which is to me the best of all of this kind of genre.
Princess Bride is like is so good. Like once I finally watched it with you guys like several years ago, I was just like, wow, this is amazing. I love it so much.
It's perfect too.
Yeah, it's super great. And I think like Enchanted, I think if it had been made by someone other than Disney, it could have like had a more sophisticated and humorous and kind of like pointed critique of everything, you know?
Yeah, agreed.
Cuz like there's what was one of the quotes oh yeah, it would be too much to expect Disney to wholly dismantle its own mythologies, thereby freeing young female hearts and minds from the curse of Prince Charming. So it's no surprise that Enchanted trips up on its way to the finish. And that's from Manolia Dargis for the New York Times.
Yeah. And
I think that's like, that kind of nails it a little bit. Like, again, we know that like sort of in our more thoroughly contemporary understandings of feminism that like princesses can be feminist too, you know, whatever. But like this Disney doesn't want to do the work at all.
No, it was like half of like I said, I think we were having a good time for the first half of it, with her fish out of water thing and you know, and all those ridiculous things, and then it just became kind of a meh, you know. We know how this is going to go.
This is so funny because I'm like, I enjoyed this. I'd probably rank it amongst the best musicals we've listened to in the series.
Well, this is not a musical. I mean, let's just get that established.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was, the songs were very good and well produced.
I mean, the songs
The
are.
things
there's
dragged
just-
through that ball, right? Come on. That was dumb.
I wouldn't have minded the ball if it had just had like a little more purpose to
Yeah.
it. Like, we don't necessarily need to spend that much time watching them moon over each other in twirls.
We
and
have already
stuff like
got
that.
it. We got it. You
Yeah,
have the
like
star-crossed eyes. We get it. Yeah.
We get it. And then like to throw in the sort of like additional like so then she has her like Prince Charming moment where she has to be kissed, true love's kiss, blah blah blah. And then we have like a second ending on top of that.
Yeah.
And I think it just feels like it's just too prolonged and for like for what? There's,
Yeah. Agreed. 100%.
yeah, I don't know.
5 stars.
I still 5 stars. Oh my god. I liked it. Like I'm not saying
I'll give it a
don't
pop.
like
If
it.
you say, does it pop? I'll say yes. I'll say it popped.
I think it
I
popped.
mean, what a fun movie to watch as a family too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it popped for sure. And I think there's
Yeah.
enough like weird little moments that are fun
Yeah.
and enough like honestly, like when you have like these sort of like the city creatures like come in to clean versus like the animated woodland creatures are
Yeah, that is funny.
such
Yeah.
so
That was
classic.
so funny.
Yeah.
And then you have all it's just I laughed so hard. And I hate rats. I hate rats. But like I laughed so hard and it was just perfect. And I even when James Marsden like slays the the steel beast when he like puts his sword into the roof of the bus, again, like just such a ridiculous over the top sort of like confidence in himself because of his privilege and like but he's also
do you like yourself? What's not to like?
like it just well actually you know what like for just like a minute I would like to talk about like what is happening with Nathaniel, with Timothy Spall's character. Like Timothy Spall is
Right.
great.
Yeah.
But what is Nathaniel even doing in this film?
Do you know
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Why does he
I know
have
what
to
he's
do it
doing
with
in
different
this film.
accents?
what? Sort of.
And
Because I
Yeah.
was going to suggest that we watch Barb and Star.
Yes, I would like to watch that as well.
I
haven't
watched it
yet.
and I loved it so much.
Oh, good.
Oh my god! But it's very similar, weirdly,
It,
to this movie.
to Enchanted?
Mhm.
Can't wait.
Interesting.
Can't wait. I really like Timothy Spall and I liked him in other things and he's good and he's talented and I'm not disputing that, but like I just
Just a devious man running around. It was just doing the bidding of.
like
didn't make
you
any
could
sense.
you could recut this film without him and it would not matter.
Except for Pip wouldn't have travails then.
I guess Pip wouldn't have had challenges, but like the
Yeah.
queen could have just been like showing up in puddles and just like trapping him in different like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we don't need a third party to do
Agreed.
her bidding.
There was a lot of weird things in this movie, but I still think it was a lot of fun. I agree.
Oh, it is, and I like I like a lot of fun and weird, so that's a good combination. So yes, we all agree it pops.
We sure do.
Yes. 5
Yay.
stars.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't know if I'd go 5
refuse
stars,
to
but-
condone 5 stars.
No, me
I
too,
just
yeah.
5 stars with an asterisk in the
Musical.
and then bracket
Yeah.
in the category of musicals.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fair
wow. This is
for you.
wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, we also love to leave our episodes on something we also think are 5 stars, or at least we endorse in some capacity. Lisa, would you like to go first?
Sure. So, amongst my taking us back, wrapping right back up to the opening of this episode, I do love going around and do the free library boxes that we have in our neighborhood as well, because I like the randomness. Sure, I could go out and just, find a new book, but I like I'm not going to say it's curated because it's more like garbage-ated. It's just people throwing out their books there, right? Let's be honest.
One man's trash, another man's treasure.
Sometimes
blah,
you
blah, blah.
find, someone's finished a new book and they put it in there, but that's pretty rare. So anyway, I did find this first part in a series called A Discovery of Witches. And it is a British fantasy novel. It's from what's called the All Souls trilogy. from back in 2011, historical fantasy novel, and the debut novel by American scholar Deborah Harkness. So I am really enjoying this combination of well-written, like a lot of scholarly research, and then just over-the-top mushy romance between a witch and a vampire.
Wow, perfect.
So yeah, and
You're kicking off summer right.
I am, exactly, and it's a big book. It's over 500 pages, and then there's 2 more parts of the trilogy. And once you finish it, Amazon has the series. So since it's from 2011, obviously, but anyway, really enjoying it. And yes, it's the perfect summer read, I have to say.
Nice.
Perfect. AG, what about you?
So my friends like to send me alerts about new fried chicken places that open up around the greater Vancouver area. And so my friend Lisa, who was on the podcast a few weeks ago, sent me an alert that a Korean chain called BBQ Chicken had opened in some of the H Marts, and it features like just really amazing Korean fried chicken.
I am ready.
Yes. and mentioned that this chicken is one of the most famous brands in South Korea, and it was featured on the show called Crash Landing on You, which is on Netflix. And so I started watching that show as well, and it's fascinating. It's a Korean drama, a South Korean drama
Crashing into You?
Yeah, it's called Crash Landing on You. Okay. And it's about this South Korean, she's like an heiress to a fortune and a successful businesswoman, and she goes paragliding, and a storm blows her into the demilitarized zone, but on the North Korean side, where she crashes and then is found by like a military officer from North Korea who happens to also be very handsome.
Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent. Is it a drama? Is it a comedy?
Yeah, it's a comedy drama.
Oh, I'm going to watch this. And I'm going to have some tickets. So is the only H Mart at where's the other H Mart? I know one at Robson. Where's another one?
There's one at UBC. There's one in Richmond. And there's one in Burnaby.
I think Metrotown, right?
Metrotown, yeah. But you should check to make sure. I don't know if they all have BBQ chicken, but I think most of them do.
All right. Noted.
That sounds great. Both of those recommendations. I am going to recommend. I watched it this afternoon. Finally, I watched it over like a FaceTime hangout with my cousin Kamiko and Carlos. We watched the Friends reunion.
Oh,
and I actually really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I don't like James Corden, really. He doesn't bring a lot to the event, but it was exactly kind of the thing you might want from a reunion of a show like Friends. Like they did like some table read stuff that like the editors juxtaposed with the actual scenes from the show. I
enjoyed that part, yeah.
Yeah, they did a lot of like behind the scenes kind of stuff, like little and like not a lot of revelations or anything, but like you could watch the dynamics between everybody, like, and they did this sort of like nice setup for the beginning, which is like, you know, taping the actors interacting with the sets for the first time and stuff. And I and then they did this montage, and I know that this is manipulative and I mean, possibly even like kind of unethical, considering how freaking white Friends was. But it did air all over the world, and it was in 19 languages, so it has meaning to lots of different fans all over the world.
Malala.
And they had this like, sorry,
Malala
was there. So they had all these different fans from all over the world, some very famous, some just regular folks, talking about what Friends meant to them.
Aww.
And all of the stories were so sweet and touching and really just like I loved each of these people that spoke, and I think that they're wonderful. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was nice.
I'm looking forward to it. I haven't seen it.
I've already watched it. So.
Did you like it?
No.
Okay, fair. Yeah. Well, I'd love to hear about what you hated about it, but we can do that offline. That's fine.
We sure can.
Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for listening. This has been, always a treasure and a treat to talk about musicals and musical movies with two huge fans of the genre.
Four is the perfect number of songs.
4 is the perfect. I'm gonna sing it again. Sorry.
You can hang with us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You could rate and review us 5 stars on iTunes.
Whoa, excuse me, I'm tired. Got sweaty when I went for a walk. And Andrea Gin, thank you so much for going on this journey with us as a producer and our co-host. And man, I know we have put you through it. I can't wait to see how you suggest some other movie titles to us in the future.
I get to program the future.
Yes. You get to program that for sure.
Yeah, you could carve this up into like a 5-minute episode. We wouldn't even, we have no control.
Exactly.
That's
No
true.
control. Yeah. Anyway, thanks everyone.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you. Bye.